Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Live Music Nation Festival Edition. Today we are with Hank O. He is in Emporia with the Halfway to Everywhere Festival coming this weekend. Thanks for joining us, Hank. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Hank, give us a little good. I'm good. Give us a little background on you personally. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
Yeah. Okay. So I was born in Hutchinson, Kansas, in the mid 80s. I'm the youngest of seven. I am the oops, I'm 8 years younger than my youngest sibling. And growing up in Kansas, I've always said is sort of a mixed blessing. I think that what a lot of people don't know about Kansas is there's actually more artists per capita in Kansas than any other state in the union. People would think, Nashville or Tennessee or New York or California, but nope, Kansas has the highest density of artists. And I think a part of that is it's a cultural thing. I think a big part is when you don't have the same amenities and opportunities as, say, a large city like Los Angeles, you are forced to sink or swim. And a lot of us take the path of being creative, and we come up with these cool ideas. And for me, it was music. I started an orchestra in 5th grade and as an upright bass player, and I continued the classical training still to this day. Every day that I eat, I practice my upright bass, and I play guitar and mandolin and banjo and anything else with strings on it. And when I got a little older and left the nest, I moved to Lawrence to go to University of Kansas, actually to be a doctor, which didn't quite work out. But while I was studying, or while I was supposed to be studying, I had decided to start playing music out just for fun. A buddy of mine was also a lifelong musician that I had grown up with, and it was kind of funny. For graduation from high school, he got a Taylor guitar and I got an upright bass. And so
get that.
And sorry, my watch is talking to me. And so anyways, we had grown up just playing music for fun together. And when we moved to Lawrence, it turned out that was a lucrative affair. And so that kind of got me into the music industry as a performing artist. We started this sort of punk bluegrass band called Dead Man Flats. And we toured for a good 10 years. We were on a independent record label called Mudstomp Records, and we had management and booking agent. And, I think we averaged about 150 shows a year, played all over the country, played in Belgium, Luxembourg, and France, and all through Europe. And that really got me the taste for the industry. And I think through that band, I really cut my teeth in a lot of aspects. I mean, I was the booking agent for a long time, so I had to learn how to book shows and how to promote them and how to sell merchandise and set up merchandise booths and come up with different ways to make money as an artist. And that and also I had to learn how to be an audio engineer. There's a lot of gigs out there for small bands where you have to do your own sound, and so just about every little piece of the puzzle I had to have my hands in. And we did so well as a band, locally and regionally, that I began being asked to book and promote shows for other venues like the Lawrence Granada or the Bottleneck, Wakarusa Music and Arts Festival. So I had this holistic background from both sides of the stage.
Sure.
Fast forward a few years, I met my wife. She was our merch girl for a long time. She's way sharper than I am academically, actually graduated from KU. And then she started her first master's program. She actually has 2 masters, both from ESU here in Emporia. And that was kind of what brought us here. It was more affordable for us to buy a house down here than it was for her to commute back and forth from Lawrence every day. And so we moved down here, and we had no intention of sticking around. We were just going to flip a house and maybe move, who knows, to some music market, Nashville or Boulder or Portland or whatever. But something about Emporia was very familiar to us. She grew up in Newton, Kansas. So we both had, this sort of background in small town Kansas. And but something about Emporia was new to us. I think that a lot of people carry sort of the stigma or baggage of the hometown they grew up in and
Right.
want to separate themselves from that. But so Emporia was similar enough to us that we were comfortable, but different enough that it was still new. And what we kind of saw here were the beginnings of this sort of cultural change. And they have, for those that don't know, Emporia is the world's epicenter for disc golf. We have the Dynamic Discs is from here. Jeremy Rusko was the founder and creator of that. He started it in his dorm room at ESU, and now it's a multi-million-dollar thing. And we do, last year they hosted the World's Professional Disc Golf Open, and they've got 2 or 3 tournaments every year. We're also the epicenter for gravel bike racing. One of the first communities in the world to have a major, it's a 200-mile gravel race across the Flint Hills of Kansas. It's now called Unbound Gravel. And again, both of those pockets of culture bring thousands of people to the community every year. And so me as a music guy, I saw this, I'm like, wow, the only thing missing is a cool concert. And so that's where Kansas Free for Arts and Halfway to Everywhere became a thing. I saw this opportunity where I have experience from touring and promoting and doing all those things. And I thought, well, if I can just sort of put the puzzle pieces together, we have us a thing. And that's kind of, now fast forward to today, this is our 4th year of operation of the festival. Kansas Free for Arts has been in operation since 2014. So almost 10 years now. And we've been doing programming in the community to bring these sort of arts experiences and concerts and educational workshops and classes. And it's just growing and growing. And so, yeah, now we have today, actually this coming Saturday is our feature event, and we're really looking forward to it.
Great. Let's jump into that event. 3 questions that people are always going to want to know when they come. What does it look like? What does it smell like, meaning food? And what does it sound like, meaning music and activity? So walk us through those 3 things.
Well, so we'll start with, what does it look like? It looks like a major music festival that you would see, if you go to Coachella or Bonnaroo. Of course, we don't have 100,000 people there. We have more like 5,000. But it's scale one of those big events down to a small town. It's full of color. It's full of stages. It's full of people. We have 5 stages in the downtown area. 3 of them are outdoor stages that are mobile that we bring in. Our large one is in our farmers market. I always point this way when I'm sitting in this chair. For those that don't know, if you walk this way out of my office, you're in the farmers market parking lot. That's our main stage area. It's also where we house our vendor market. We have about 40 local and regional arts vendors who set up shop out in this area. And there's a variety of things such as painting, live graffiti, jewelry, glass blowing, rocks and minerals, all sorts of really cool kitschy stuff that is, again, it's local artists that are selling their wares. So what it smells like, we do have a variety of food trucks in this area as well. We've got, I think there's barbecue, there's pizza, there's like a snack shack, there's turkey legs, there's just, I think the Mi Santijitos does sort of Latin snacky, lots of rice and beans and tortilla.
Right.
Occasionally we have a snow cone vendor. We also have several beer tents, so it smells like food and beer. We've got the Bourbon Cowboy sells their wares. Casa Ramos does the margarita booth. Of course, our local brewery, Radius Brewing Company, always brews up a custom beverage called Halfway to Every Beer. So there's a booth where you can go get some Halfway to Every Beer in honor of the festival. And what it sounds like, I know that in any community, we have an eclectic range of tastes. And so that's just like our concerts. I don't just focus on one style of music. I try to have a shotgun blast of everything so that no matter who you are, there's something for you there. Our 2 main stages are particularly eclectic. We've got everything from rock and roll, doom metal, dance, reggaeton, just about everything. The other 3 stages, so we have Bourbon Cowboy, Radius Brewing Company, and then there's what we call the ESU Root Stage, which is kind of the south end of our site. Those are more programmatic. The Bourbon Cowboy Stage, you can't have a venue called the Bourbon Cowboy and not put country music on it.
Right.
So that's our red dirt alt country stage. The ESU Root Stage, I am personally have been going to the Walnut Valley Bluegrass Festival in Winfield. This will be my 24th year in attendance, and I would be remiss in my duties as a Kansas specifically branded promoter if I didn't pay homage in some way to the Bluegrass Festival. So the Root Stage is kind of that. I call it the Pecan Grove North.
Gotcha.
So lots of bluegrass, and then the Radius Stage is all singer-songwriters.
Okay, so, very cool. So give us the times and dates of this.
Yeah, okay. So it's always a Saturday, Labor Day weekend, which this year is September 2nd, which is this coming Saturday. It goes from the gates open at 1:30 p.m. The music starts at 2 p.m. and it goes all the way until 2 a.m. And if you can drag yourself to all 28 bands that are performing, not only will you have a good time, but you will be exhausted.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Where do people find out information? How do they get tickets?
H2efest.org is our website. And you can also look us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, which is Halfway to Everywhere Music and Arts Festival.
All right. Very good. Guys, check them out. Thanks for being on with us, Hank. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go if you want to?